Hi, Stephanie here from All Things Social. Welcome back to the A to Z of social media. Today's letter is L. L stands for Let's Get Social. In other words, it's time to talk about engagement. Now, engagement is one of those things that people tend to forget about when they're spending so much time planning their content. And really, if you want people to engage with your content, then you need to think about it whilst you're creating it. Now, there are various ways to make sure that your content and your social media platforms are engaging, and I've come up with 4 simple tips for you today to help you get started. Okay, number 1 is to make sure that you are set up properly to look inviting and engaging as a business. That means make sure that all of your profiles are filled out fully. You have a nice profile picture, a good cover photo if we're talking about Facebook or Twitter, and just generally you look like you're put together and you are worth following. Then people are more likely to engage with your page. In terms of your bio, particularly on Instagram, make sure that it's very clear who you are, what you do, and why people should follow you and engage with your content. That will really help that split-second decision when people come to your page and decide whether or not they're going to follow or move away. Number 2 is to make sure that your content is engaging. By content, I mean video, photos, and of course your captions or your posts. So the general rule these days on social media is that you can actually have a much longer caption. Before we used to think, oh, people couldn't be bothered to read it, but now if you have a longer caption with a good story that will pull people in, then it's actually proving to be far more engaging, and they're much more likely to comment and share and respond to what you're saying because you've really shared something of value for them. Just make sure that at the beginning of that very long post that you have a little header or a question or something to pull them in the first place. So once they do engage, then they do stay for the rest of the story. If you don't pull them in at the beginning, then they're never going to bother reading the rest of it. I also like to tell clients to put themselves into their business, and for a lot of small business owners this can be really scary, but really in my mind you are your brand a lot of the time as a solopreneur or small business owner. So share a picture of you. People like to connect with people. Share a picture of your customers, share your staff. Just make sure that you are putting people out there in pictures and not just product shots. And that leads in nicely to tip number 3, which is to start conversations. Ask questions, say something that people will want to respond to. And I don't mean start drama, but what I do mean is have some kind of value in the content that you are writing so that people want to respond and want to be a part of the conversation that you're having. Asking questions is one of the easiest ways to engage people and get them to actually comment on your post, but there are ways and means of doing it. Now, I really would recommend asking a question that's relevant to the story or the caption that you've just written, and not just something as simple as comment below if you agree. That is basically known as engagement baiting, and it's kind of frowned upon in the industry. But really, as long as you are starting a meaningful conversation, you have something genuine to say, people will genuinely want to respond to you. And that is really how you build an engaged following of people that will eventually turn into customers for you. And finally, tip number 4 is to be engaging yourself. And by that, I mean go out and like and comment and share other people's posts. If you remember K just a few weeks ago in our alphabet series here, it was all about kindness and taking the time to really give people genuine comments on their social media to help grow a community and foster theirs too. Now, before you say to me, hang on Steph, I don't have time to go commenting on everybody's posts, I can barely find time to write to my own, I do have one thing to say to you. How much time do you spend randomly scrolling through social media on your break or in the queue for things? Now, I would bet it's a lot because I know that I do it a lot too. But if you turn that mindless scrolling into strategic scrolling, then what you can do during that time is start engaging with other people's content. You can go to profiles where your ideal customer hangs out, and you can like and comment and become visible on those profiles so that they come over and see your profile. Now, if they come over to your profile or your your Facebook page, having seen that that's why you need to have engaging content and a perfect setup, so they're more likely to follow you and then engage with you in future posts. And while we're on the subject, why don't you comment below with any questions or queries that you may have, and also join the conversation over in the All Things Social Facebook group. Make sure you find it on Facebook just by searching All Things Social, or you can head on over to my website allthingssocial.co.uk and you'll find it through there. I will see you next week with M. Bye!